I'm Susan Prescott, Chair. Virginia Morris, Vice Chair. Let's put this here for the best reception. Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
I have to remember which role I'm in. So Glenn Koppelman, I'm currently your select board rep.
Correct.
Madeline Willett, member.
Yep, Stanley.
Stanley Shore, member.
And absent is Rob Purcell, our new planning board rep. So, first thing we need to do this evening, because it's that time of year, we need to do the annual reorganization of the board, which is voting for a chair and vice chair for the next year. Virginia and I have spoken. I am willing to continue on as chair unless there's somebody wants to stage a coup, which, and Virginia has agreed to continue as the vice chair unless somebody would really rather do it.
I make a motion to nominate Susan Prescott as president, or chairman, and vice chair as Virginia Morris. Can we do two at once?
You can unless there's an objection.
Okay.
Now, do we have any objections or discussion? You need a second.
I'll second
You
the
second.
discussion.
Okay. Now, objections, discussion.
It's on you.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, here's unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and I vote for Marissa to continue as our wonderful secretary. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, so let's see. The first order of business is to welcome Glenn Koppelman, as you just heard, the new select board rep.
Happy to be with you again.
Yay. Glenn has been our planning board rep for a long time, like
17 years.
17 years.
Is that right?
I went back to the minutes, and in fact, I was preparing for candidates night, and that's when I started counting. I went back to the minutes. Oh my God.
So we missed him for one meeting and we were all panicking. So we're very happy to have you back.
Yes.
And Bob isn't here for us to welcome, so we will welcome him at the next meeting. Next up is critical correspondence, of which I have none. I did send out the minutes for the February 14th meeting and the March 15th meeting. So, do we have any changes or discussion?
We can do one at a time.
We'll do one at a time. Okay, we'll do the February 14th first then. They looked very good to me as always.
As always, yes.
I make a motion to accept Tuesday, February 14th minutes as printed.
Second.
The motion was made by Virginia, seconded by Madeline. Do we have any discussion or corrections, nothing like that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. And now for the March 15th. Yes, I have a correction for the March 15th. Okay.
Yes, so Glenn wasn't an absent member because he wasn't on the planning board anymore, and he was not yet a selectman. So he just wasn't here.
So I shouldn't appear for all.
So his name shouldn't appear at all.
Okay.
You're in limbo.
That's right. Or purgatory.
Good catch. That's the only one I had.
Do we have any other corrections? Nothing? Okay. So
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of Wednesday, March 15th as printed.
Second.
motion made by Virginia, seconded by Madeline. Do we have any other discussion on this? Keep looking at Stanley like you're gonna say. All in favor? Okay.
And I'd like to record my abstention on it since I wasn't there.
Perfect, all right, and none opposed. Thank you. Now, on to town board updates. Do the selectmen have any news pertaining to HDC?
Well, not to HDC, but it is, I do have something pertinent to the town that this board should be aware of. And that is that one of the select board members, as of last Thursday, has resigned his position as select board member, who's the chair actually, and the town health officer, and that's Richard Wilson.
Okay.
So Richard has ended his duties as a select board member, and so the current select board, which now is down to 4 members, will be filling that seat for the remainder of this year of the term, so between now and next March, and at which point there will still be 1 year left on Richard's current term. So whoever is appointed to it, if they want to continue on for the remainder, they would need to run in the election next year for a 1 year spot. So we have, at the meeting, at the select board meeting last night, it was announced that we're accepting letters of interest from anyone who would like to be considered to serve that between now and next March in Richard's stead. And letters of interest are to be sent to Susan Eyre, the select board's administrator, no later than April 24 at noontime. So it's pretty short window, but
Okay.
so that's the news. Nothing pertaining to HDC at this point.
Okay. Yes.
So I have a request from our new selectman. I hope many thanks were given to Richard Wilson for his time of serving. He certainly has been on so many committees and so many participated.
Well, actually, nothing was said other than announcing that he had resigned, so at this point, there has been no formal thanks or anything like that.
But my question is, I have so much paperwork and so many files, and over again, the selectmen were going to call us in and talk about the saving of those files electronically that they've been working on.
Yep.
And I'd love to throw some of that paperwork out, and I know much of it is duplicated, but I don't want to throw out the one thing that hasn't been duplicated. So I really need instruction. Susan has 2 years worth. I don't know how many years worth, crates and crates. And they were going to call different department heads in and have a meeting about that, and I'd like to have that happen.
Okay, well, I know that, I don't know much of the detail, but I do know that they're in the process of digitizing as many of the hard copy records as they can, and I'm not sure if it's that they just haven't gotten to HDC yet in the process, or if for some reason it wasn't on their radar, I don't know.
Okay.
But I will check it for you.
Do we have an update from the Heritage Commission?
I can't wait for you to call on me. All the plaques are finally here, and they are magnificent. So I would have brought one down to the meeting to show you, but they are so heavy that I couldn't carry this, and those, they're solid brass. And the day after Easter, so Saturday, the day before Easter, my husband said, I don't think the Easter Bunny left this package, I can't move it. So there are 4 plaques in this giant package, and they're all packaged very
Those
nicely.
are for the National Register.
So these are for the National Register, and they're just magnificent. Took over a year. We found some errors. If we say okay and the error is there, we pay a second time to get it fixed. One was obvious, seeing one cemetery, it said instead of seminary. That was obvious, but one of them had a date wrong on one of them. So I've checked them all. They're all good. Chinberg's, Eric, who's dealt with us, yes. Paul, yeah. They asked if they could postpone mounting theirs because of the work being done in the building. Yes. But the other ones were cemetery, library, and Church on the Plains are ready to go. These are the National Register of Historic Places plaques, Stanley, that the Heritage Commission has provided for our buildings. And I think I told you that Dan Doyle has one on the front of the Josiah Bartlett House, so he's doing it. And we've met with buildings and grounds, if you will, rather than say road agent, and he's going to help them mount them, and so I'm really delighted. And they got here in time for the ceremony for the library, that's however many years they're celebrating, I forget now. They're going to have a celebration.
You mean at the old library?
At the old library, yes.
125 years.
Okay, I knew it was big.
That celebration is on June 10th.
I knew it was coming up, and there was a little paperwork glitch and a little paying glitch, but it's all done and they're here, so they're going to have it. So that's really exciting. And no to Leslie's panic, which I teased her, we're not putting it on the door. She nearly passed out. And I said, well, how about the door? I know, but it's so beautiful door. It's going to be on a stone. So I'm really excited, because that was a long project.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Is there any paperwork? I understood they were going to put the whole historic district on the National Register.
There's been some talk of that from the Heritage Commission, Stanley, but they have so many other projects that they're doing right now. I don't think that's on the top of their list.
All right, so first up for applications, we have Beth Lovern of 119 Main Street. And let's pass these out. Guys can share that.
Here's Stanley, this is just the application. Sorry.
Hold on one sec. All right, you want to present your project? Or do you want to wait? You guys look it over and let me know when you're ready to listen to Beth, all right?
We were just sort of getting a handle on it
Okay, yes.
before he describes it, just to see what. The proposed addition is not part of this application.
No, that's an old,
Previous.
yes, previous, trying to say, right after.
Basically, replacing walkways primarily. Access ways.
Steps and walkways.
Existing.
Okay.
These are existing conditions.
Correct. Ready? Okay, so I'm ready.
Do you want me to state my name?
Sure, yes, yeah, go ahead, if you want to.
Buck Lover, 119 Main Street, Kingston. Looking to get approval, so to get the building permit to basically replace our old walkways. In doing so, we would like to change the front steps going for entrance, and we'd like to put it granite and get rid of the brick that was kind of put there. Personally, don't like it very much. I think the building would look more traditional for the historic, of course, our pretty modern house for as far as.
What year is your house again?
Huh?
What year is your house?
1954.
1954.
It's basically just.
It's a youngster in the district.
Yes. We're basically just replacing walkways is all we're looking to do.
Walkways and steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're using the same materials that you had, and you're just pulling it up, fixing it.
No, we're replacing the actual new pavers. That matches what we had in the back. A couple of years of that.
Gotcha.
With
it says Granite City Blend.
Yes,
The color.
it's like a grayish
Yeah.
kind of
So it'll
blue
match the granite steps.
steps.
Yep.
So I'm assuming the granite will be rectangular and not the semicircular like you.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, it'll be square, yes, rectangular, yes.
You're gonna be able to do it in one granite slab or?
No, I think it'll be two.
A little too much height for one, I guess, huh?
Yes.
But we can see the back of your house here where the table and chairs are.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that staying? Is that remaining? Bottom photograph, is that what you're matching?
Yes,
Okay, so out front to the front door, and then through the gate and around the house is going to match what's already there.
what's already there.
Okay.
The patio? Yes.
And the steps coming down from the patio doors, is the slider, is that going to be the same granite as your front steps?
Yes, but there'll just be one slab there,
Okay.
18 inches wide by 6 foot.
That's in your backyard anyway, right?
Yes.
So, this must be this.
Yes.
The bottom picture is in the back of the house.
Correct. Yep.
And that area that has the stone and the flagstone on the ground, that walkway will get a lot smaller. We're going to bring the grass up to the walkway.
What are you gonna do with all the lovely flagstones?
I have quite a collection, and I'll probably put them up for sale at some point, unless I come up with another great idea to use them.
I thought you might have another project.
Well, I usually figure out how to repurpose a lot of things, so.
Because you like carrying the neighbors around?
Well, yeah, I did sell all the ones that we took up the last fall.
Good, good.
So,
We put this in this use, decorative round stones added to the
I actually took,
side and back.
1,328 square pavers that was on the back patio. And we did an addition, we ended up with an extra room underneath the new bathroom entrance. And I actually, there were troughs thrown all through the window and laid them in the floor on top of the concrete. So we have that cobblestone basement, and that's like our storage room, food storage.
Perfect.
Nice, nice.
Next to, on your descriptor of what you're doing, the next to bottom sentence says you're going to put decorative round stones on the drip edges. So your pavers are coming up close to the building, and then crushed rock, round rock, right along that drip edge, just around the border of the
Just
house.
the border of the house, and it'll match what's along the back garage, which I don't have a picture of, but it's basically just to give, because we don't have gutters. It's just to allow the water
I
to
see.
go into that instead of hitting the wall.
Splashing it up, making
Yeah,
it
we
up.
have that.
Yeah.
We do that.
It's like inch and a half and smaller.
Yep, Keystone.
River rock, oh, it's the real small stuff.
Yes, yes. And the only place that'll be is on the side of the house in the rear. Nothing, none of that will be out front.
Yeah.
And the little retaining wall that's on the front walkway, we're gonna keep that. And the white post, we're just gonna let it move right beside of it.
I don't have any other questions.
I have no questions. It looks good.
You okay?
Is that flagstone that you're using on the front, looks like it's mosaic,
In the front of the house,
like the front stairs?
that's all coming out.
Oh, it's on,
There'll be granite slabs put over steps.
yeah, I like the way it is.
Do we have any more questions for Buck?
I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented.
I will second. Motion made by Glenn, seconded by Madam. Any more discussion or questions or anything? No? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Excellent. But, have you paid, did you pay for your,
I paid for the application.
okay, all right,
One more just to tell me how much it is for the.
for the building permit. You paid for the historic district one? Yes?
I haven't seen the copy of it.
No, I think it's all right. It's okay, they have a copy downstairs. All right. So you will be getting your certificate of approval in the mail in a couple of days, and a copy of that will go to Jess as well, okay?
Do I need to contact him or will he contact me?
You need to contact him.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
That was ASAP, right?
Yes, thank you. This is pretty simple project.
Yes.
Nothing too intense.
No, that's great. You're good with your knees.
But I should be done within a week.
Good. Good. Thank you.
Good luck with it.
See you at the next project.
Elaine, I'll take that and then I'll have a copy of it.
Oh, I threw mine over there too.
Actually, you can have this one because I wrote some notes on it.
Okay.
All right, and I'll just keep another one of them. This is the second one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the next applicant is, it's kind of a continuation from a couple of years ago. First Congregational Church. Virginia knows more about this one than I do, so I'm going to let her take it over.
So I've been talking with these two gentlemen from the church, and after they introduce themselves and tell what they want to do, I'm going to catch you up to date unless you remember the meeting in June of 2021.
Probably not. No. Semi
I remember this gentleman being here, but probably not much detail to me.
Thanks.
So go ahead, introduce yourself and just remind everybody what you were doing. I'm going to read the details from that meeting because it's pretty clear what we decided.
So my name is Albert, I'm from the Congregational Church. I'm acting as a friend of the trustees and kind of doing some lead work for the projects. And this is Scott Williamson, he is a trustee at the church, and we're here in June 2021. And asked for approval to do some work on the front of the church and the steeple. And at that time, we had a picture from 1890-something. The church, a little shed wall moved over the front entrance of the church. And we asked for permission to put that back. And he gave us approval, but you asked us to bring back some drawings when we had something finalized. And so we've had some discussion. Some people did not care for the shed roof. It just didn't feel like it fit very well. So after looking around at different buildings and the further discussion, we have on the side of the church a kind of portico entrance. And we just like to do a smaller version of that on the front of the church. And you can see in the scope, 8.5 by 11, you see some pictures of the portico on the side of the church, what that looks like.
That's going their way.
Yeah, and the one on the front of the church would be the same type of construction, but a little smaller in scale because the front, it's limited by the driveway in the front, which is on the side and everything. So we're just trying to go over that flat area in front of the doors, just so that you can see the window and also the colors to the
So Al said some people didn't care for the shed roof, and many unkind words were said about that first shed roof. It was not attractive.
So this isn't the front door, this is the side,
The front door, this is
The east elevation is the front, facing Church Street.
So I asked him to take a front and side picture of the side entrance because it's going to look like the front entrance.
Okay.
That's why you're seeing the side entrance on the back.
Okay.
That's the way it looks going into the side. That's what they want to put on the front.
That'll be replicated
On the front, of a small version of this, but,
And the trim and the molding will be replicated as well up the columns, all the detail will be.
The picture,
Yeah.
the color picture on the submitted drawings, on the submitted drawing, very accurately represents the size of every board, the length of the post.
Okay.
And I went ahead and added a curved driveway to the front to give you an idea of where you're looking at the church from. But that is an architectural plan. That picture is taken right off of the plans. All those windows are drawn on the plans, everything, the roof pitch, everything's drawn on the plans. Then I just took an overview shot and let the computer put it on there and he has a bird's eye view. The reason I did that was mostly to give you guys a sense of scale. This is not going to be huge and imposing. It is not going to become a focal point similar to the way the side is. We're not trying to distract from the church. We just want protection over the front entry.
So there's a bit of detail in the column, I think that's what Virginia was getting at.
looks like there's a panel.
Looks like it's a recessed.
Right, and I did all of that work to replicate corner boards on the church. The profile of these posts isn't even large enough to add that kind of detail, only 6 inches.
But it's gonna basically match what's on the side, what you did there.
Yeah, it's going to be posts coming up to a frame, to a small roof section that sits on top of the frame.
Right. But the detail, or is it just plain?
There's 6 by 6 fiberglass structural posts. And the railings are going to be attached to them, so the detail that we put on is just going to be concealed anyway. I don't want to take away from the front entry. All of the panel work and everything has already been replaced with PVC identical to original construction. So there's a lot of moldings and everything on the entryway. As soon as you take your first step on those stairs, you see all of the nice moldings and the detail on the doors. I don't even want to distract from that with something new.
Right, and more fancy, like, if you're walking up in your poster on the plain side, that will only attract your eye more to the detail here.
I don't want to disappear. I don't want to be
smoke frame.
Yeah, basically what we're going to do, and I don't want to really make super fancy either. I don't want to add more. When you get up the stairs and you look up, you'll see a nice beaded ceiling with crown molding running around on the inside. But for the most part, I'm not trying to make a new architectural feature on the front of the church. I want to keep the front of the church the way that it looks, the way that it has looks for it.
I almost wish that they hadn't put the side entrance on, because usually you would have the more ornate entrance at the front, and now you're going to have a more ornate entrance on the side.
Well, you see photographs of the side entrance. What the builder had recommended was glass doors, very similar to what you would see at Walmart.
Yeah.
That's what the entrance was going to be, the side of the church.
Yep.
And my wife found those doors online, and I was like, buy them, just buy them.
Beautiful.
We're going to put those doors in, we're going to change the design, and I have one.
Can we count this pitch to this roof?
So we kept that nice because I mean, that's where most people enter, except on Sunday morning.
Yes, Adam? Is there a pitch to the roof, or is it a flat roof? Is it a flat roof or is there a pitch? Oh,
It shows they don't have one, it's a flat roof. Very small flat roof, we're gonna keep the water up there and send it down to a drain pipe. Similar to the other entry, so the wind doesn't blow all the water off when you're 5 months. So if anyone's here, it's just crazy, you look at the other pages, it's all we get the drawing.
I didn't hear you say, I'm sorry.
I said, if anyone's in the page, you can look at the details of the drawing, so page 4, page 3, there's a lot of details, exactly how it's going to go.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Surface towards the sternum. So he's so bad.
And if you look at the measurements, you can see that this is not big. The little bit of framing structure is 4 foot by 8 foot.
Yeah.
And the entire roof is 5 foot by 10 foot. Small square footage in this table, I believe. Real close. Real close.
Scott, the colored view, your perspective view, you're showing the new work in gray. Is that just to make it stand out? It's going to be white, correct?
Yeah, otherwise you would only have a black and white photo.
But it's going to all be white.
It's going to stay white. The vertical siding is going to be replaced with vertical siding. So the top would look the same, it won't show the top boards. My program doesn't give me more than that, sorry, it's too old. It's like, we don't do it like that anymore.
This is all wooden, yeah. Will this require, I'm sorry, I haven't studied all of these well enough. Will this require the step part and the landing part of the steps to be replaced?
No, it will not. It will not. The last page of those plans are actually as-built. That is what is existing now, it's staying. And basically, there's, if anyone's familiar with the front of the church, as you walk up the steps, there's a small 4x4 post on either side of the very top step.
Yep.
That's been changed to 6x6 and continue up to support the roof. In the exact same location, the railings are going to reattach to it.
So is this part the new roof? I think this is the new roof of the front foot. I see, front foot.
The railings are also of the PVC material.
Yes, they were installed. I don't know, I don't have the date because the wonderful computer program updates my plans every time.
They already exist.
They already exist, but then they were, since we did the ramp and the stairs, we did at the same time. So,
Scott, what's the material for the posts on the side entrance?
structural fiberglass posts.
Would that be in Kingston wood or just,
No, the structural fiberglass post is a finished product. There are so many around that look like, they're PVC, that I'm looking right in front of me, that is structural fiberglass right there, or very close to the same look. It's, structural fiberglass is what they build boats out. It has the glass in it, but it's all done, it's all polished on the outside, and the walls of this tool is sufficient to hold up literally 5 square feet of roof. We're about 5 square feet of roof that this post has to hold up.
will be a round post and
No, it's square, it's specified to be square, and it's 6 inches, the edges have slightly designed, it looks like painted wood. It looks like a 6x6 with the edges easy.
And that's a solid piece of material?
It's actually hollow. It's structural fiberglass.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking now about the ones that you're gonna put in the front.
The one that I'm going to put in the front is hollow. It is structural fiberglass.
Just trying to understand.
It'll hold about 25,000 pounds, and I'm only putting 3,000 max.
Right.
With 5 feet of snow in there.
We have those on our porch too.
They work great.
They look great.
The paint stays on if you choose to paint, and they never rot.
As you go up the stairs to the right, I see new railing there. That's not there now, is it?
That is the existing one, yeah.
I think I never seen it before.
Everything on that drawing is as close as I could draw it from what's existing. I actually had this picture on one time model right there with our scale and measuring and making sure everything was the right size that I was drawing, putting in the CAD program. So.
Where's this?
I think it's here. That's the front.
Okay, so there's some depth to this.
Yep.
The 6, 1 by 6, 1 by 12, they're piled one on top of the other. So this is looking very flat because of the tool they had to do it with.
Right,
But
right.
this
But that line,
yes. We're looking, Susan and I are talking about detail on the front. So you say you're trying to keep it really simple to draw your eye to the front door of the church rather than to the roof, the new porch, I'll call it, portico, whatever. I don't like things that are totally flat, so the gray is deceiving because you can't see any depth there. But the drawing, the front drawing, it appears that those boards are layered, so they're different sizes, but they're all an inch thick, so it appears that they're layered, so it's not gonna be flush.
I'm looking for detail. I'm thinking there should be a molding that goes around the top, and I can't tell if that's a molding or if it's just a flat.
What we see around the top, you can see on page 3 of the detail, there's a drip cap on the top. These are all the details, yes. Yeah, so if you look at the top right, you'll see that I have crown molding shown up against the building there, that crown molding continues. That's inside the beam.
Okay, I'm just trying to get my fingers. Okay, so there is crown around the top,
There's a crown molding right below the ceiling panels.
under the ceiling panel, okay.
On the outside, that 1 foot overhang, there's also the same ceiling panels, and the crown molding will continue there. I'm not sure if I got to put that on the drawing.
I don't think it's on the drawing.
It's not, yeah. So I'm looking for across the very top, so if you start at the very top level of this, just on the, if you look at this, the side entrance, I can't find any of these pages, wait a second. I have it a second. Here it is. No, here it is. What's hiding it? So at the top of your side entrance, there's a molding that goes across the very top. Will that be there as well on the front?
Well, there's still a molding that's below the pan. It's a drip cap.
It looks like a slight molding, it might be. It's just a drip cap.
Take a look at that snapshot.
Yes, I know, you built it. I'm just trying to figure out this.
This up here is laid boards.
Just laid, okay.
It's just stepped up.
Okay.
I'm very similar to that, except that this board's not as wide because my roof structure's not this tall.
Right.
It's only this tall.
Okay, so that's gonna be not as wide.
Right.
But then on this one, you'll have a
On
more,
my support beams here, my support beam, those support beams are this tall. The ones that are going in are 9 inches.
okay, wait, support beam, meaning.
So up
This-
here where
this
these
section.
raised panels are,
Yes.
that's
18 inches.
Okay.
Total. I'm only using 9.
Okay.
By the time I put molding on it, I've got so little left, I can't put any recessed panels in this stall.
But you'll have a molding here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there'll be a molding there at the top.
I'm feeling better.
And I'm actually not wrong with it.
Around the inside. All right, hold on, we're coming over to look.
It doesn't show.
Yeah, you want to look where you are.
Right, because this is the molding right here. Yes, yeah. That would be here and there. So it just.
Okay, all right, that's what we're coming over, so he doesn't. So he's going to put the same molding here. So this molding right here underneath, so there'll be a top element, this will be layered boards, which gives the illusion of a molding. And then there will be a molding here on the second layer, even though it's
flat.
It's smaller. This panel will be flat.
Yes.
It will not be,
We're looking at molding this sheet.
and will there be any top element on it?
Yes, there is. I'm not sure if it was drawn in these fine
It
details.
looks just flat here.
We threw a base in here.
Okay.
But, yeah, they do have supplied bases and caps.
Awesome. Oh, okay. So it's gonna look like a normal column with a fluted top or whatever it comes with, right? Because ours is with the tops and bottoms.
If it would make the rest of you feel better, I've done a lot of like farmers porches on the identical work, there's no difference. We're stepping out, we're gonna have ground loading at the soffit, and then the soffit down, and then I put layering coming out to a drip cap.
Okay, that sounds much better.
Very similar details that we can see right now.
Because this just looked like a post with a flat rectangle with another flat rectangle on it, and I was cringing. Because I know you're beautiful. Oh, you're front of your church.
I have $25 in these.
Yes, exactly. But I'm just trying to see your vision. All right, I think I'm feeling better. Yeah, there's six.
What are the, Scott, what are the size of the posts on the side entrance? Those are quite large, the uprights, the ones with they're like,
There were 9 1/4. These are boards that made up the post. Were 9 1/4 plus I added either 3/4 to each side of a full 1 inch.
And that's how
that recessed panel look.
right, so that's why you were able to make the recessed panel, because you had the width to work with.
And I purposely designed it that big to match the corner post of the church. With the wide recessed flat area, really wide post. That's what the posts on the south entrance reflect. It was a match to the corner posts of the church.
And the reason that you're not going to replicate those recessed panels is because the posts that you're proposing are much smaller than the ones that are.
6 by 6, I'm not thinking of
Yeah, the little teeny thing, yeah.
Right, I'm not thinking of it as a structure, so if I put a bigger post on this little thing up through it, it's like, kind of silly.
Yeah, so we'll have we'll have caps and bases for the columns. So I don't know if we need to make a list of what you're looking for on the structure, because I think some of the things are missing on this just because of the way the drawing is, but.
I think we need, maybe he could draw those in for us, these nice arrows where you and he were talking about molding.
Okay.
Just on one of them so that, Jess can see that, and we'll have a reminder of it.
Well, I've got one little marking.
I made that mark.
Oh, you made that? Yeah, that's how you
Just mark it, and
Yeah, so it'll be in here too? All right, so we'll do that, and then it will be at the base as well. It's a cap.
Is there any other detail that you need to add in besides just the molding? Not that I can see, yeah. Size of the landing, if you know, of the steps is gonna be the same. The handicap ramp is the same and it's going to join it. Yeah. I didn't know there were railings there. I guess the doors almost open against it, like going in and out, so I guess.
So we have the caps on the column, tops and bases, and the molding going around the, oh gosh,
Is that like a called a fascia? What you would call it?
We can call it support structure, that's what we know it is. We can call it the beams that hold up the roof,
Yep.
which is also what it is.
Where would you want this part? Where would you say this molding is gonna be here?
Roof overhang. So the crown molding will follow.
I'm going to below the ceiling panels, both inside and out. Now, we can do that. And I won't go too technical because it's bed molding, not crown.
Right, yeah, because it's small, yes. Well, you could have done crown if you wanted to, but bed molding will work.
It says crown.
Yes.
That's why we're calling it that.
Bed molding, okay? So below ceiling panel, inside and out. That one, he's got that as the drip cap. What am I missing, Glenn? They've got tops and bases and.
So that's that will go to Jess.
Okay. Okay.
Do we have any more discussion on this? You all right, Sammy? Yeah. Okay. I can make a motion to accept the application as presented with the details that we've discussed here tonight. Second that motion. Stanley. Do we have any more questions or discussion? Did I forget anything? I don't know. Okay. All in favor of approving the certificate of approval for this project? Aye. Okay, unanimous.
Oh, see, it's just hard because you have a brilliant mind and you know exactly what you're talking about, but I can't see from these, so. I know, but we do.
So for the board.
Yes.
When this application came to us, June 8th, 2021, this part of the application, we discussed for quite a while and said no. So we approved, we didn't say no, we said we want to see a better design. So I sent a certificate of approval for the 4 items that we approved. And then it included PVC trim, repair and replace board and batten siding, et cetera, et cetera. And then this was number 5, reconstruct small shed roof above the front entry to maintain historical appearance while utilizing engineered lumber and cellular PVC trim. Put your glasses on. Yeah, for heaven's sake. Should this item be approved by the congregational membership, the trustees will come back to HDC with detailed plans for that roof. This condition applies to this item only. So that's why I didn't feel like a whole new application was necessary. So I will write a certificate of approval with this and reference this approval from 2021.
Yeah, you want to reference it so that the two of them are sort of,
Yes.
they live together.
Yes. So that's what I'll do.
Excellent.
Just as a note, the rest of the work that it was approved, I know you have a 2-year.
Yes.
And so the rest of the work on the steeple and the front face is scheduled to begin this summer. We have contracted that. So it's past the 2-year, that's what I'm saying.
So you need to request an extension.
Well, something happened like COVID.
So do we
Did
need,
that slow it down?
we need a formally requested
An
extension?
extension.
But we've got to get it.
Can we do that now?
We can do it now. Okay.
I mean, the minutes can reflect that the applicant has requested an extension, and we should be able to act on it.
Sure. Sure, we'll vote on it.
We need to know how much time.
Well, we have a July timeframe from, what's it called, Steeple Company in Connecticut. And so they told us it would be summer, July, probably the end of July.
How about the end of the calendar year?
Yes. Yep, we done that.
That's reasonable.
I'm not sure shingles were part of your purview, but that would be scheduled immediately after they're done working on the roof fixing.
I think you said
It's got that tower and steeple.
Yeah, you said shingles was just a maintenance thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to change the type of material,
No.
then it's maintenance.
So we have three bids on shingles, and that will be scheduled in September.
So is the end of the calendar year a doable extension, do you think, or do you more?
Everything we know now, we've signed a contract with the Steeple Company.
Okay.
And then we have 3 bids for shingles, and we'll have them pencil us in for September.
Well, I mean, if we do an extension to the end of the year, I mean, if for some reason something gets delayed again, I mean, you just come back and ask for another extension.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to extend this certificate of approval until December 31, 2023.
Second by Madeline. Do you have any discussions on any of that? No?
September is 30 days.
December.
I meant to say December if I didn't say December.
I think you did, yeah. All in favor of extending their COA for this project? Aye. Did you say anything? Do you agree with the extension would be? Thank you. I'll second that. Thank you. So, don't go away. Do you want me just to send this to the church? Do you want me to send it attention you have, or do you?
Just the trustees. So this one's for Jeff. I'm just want to hear your things on there, but.
You guys have a key.
2, one for our records and one for the, this one's for Jess. Okay, and we have one for Jess, you don't need to give him another.
Because I know one's involved. That's all.
What's that? No, it's Jeff.
Robert is not here anymore. He'll go with He's the new building inspector.
When did Robert leave?
Months ago.
I told him I wanted his job. I was going to get him out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is supposed to Jess.
Yeah, put a sticky on that one.
Thank you for all the service to the town. 17 years, you was just started in your 20s.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Bill.
This is the one that's gonna go to Jess. Who wants you off to go stop at his office tomorrow? You want me to drop this off, or are you going in? You know what, I'm gonna go in with the customer card, so I'll leave that. How's that? Perfect. Unless you're going to do it. No, I have to go in anyway, but yeah, you can do it. So that is done. So I put down on the agenda, HDC new improvements. Don't forget this. Oh, forgot about that. Do you want to talk homework assignments?
That was a convenient oversight, Susan.
Yeah, a computer spreadsheet, Virginia. Okay. Oh, boy, is there a mess in my family room. I had so much paperwork. What I decided was that I would trust you guys. So I'm going to give you an assignment, which I hope you will accept, and I need these back. I can't see copying all this again, and you can't know without seeing the plan what was expected of the applicant.
Oh, okay.
So what I've done is, I had an assignment for Rob, he's not here, I'll have to chase him down. What I did was, look back and we have some from way back, but I thought I'd start with
most current due dates. So I went back a couple of years. Some of the old ones, people aren't even here anymore, like the vape shop, and yes, some of those are gone. Yeah, so I'm not worried about that. So on here, it has your name, and then it has the name of the two places you're going. Most of them you can see just by being in the driveway, and you don't need to go on the person's property. Stan, this is to check on certificates of approval to see if they're all done. But if you do, the application always has a phone number. So if you feel like you really need to go and get on the property to see, then the phone number's there. So there's yours, two for you.
Yeah, please do not go on private property without permission.
No. There's Rob's, he's gonna get it later, sooner or later. Stan, these are your two. What's your homework, Stan? I'll tell you in a minute. Maddie, two for you. And
Glenn needs to have homework too, if we have to have it.
it does. Where did I go?
He doesn't have enough to do.
You got three. No, one of them was the Prescott's, and I know they'll let you on your property. But I didn't think that there was some lighting and things. I didn't think that she should check her own property, so I think that one will take you. Because that is and I took 5 of them. And the reason for that is 4 of them, oh, Maddie, what? I don't know that. You do too. 2 of them right there. Now, don't lose these. Excuse me. 4 of mine are signs. Oh, okay. So, and if you have any questions about any of this, give me a call. So the goal is these are people whose projects should have been completed, and the goal is to go take a look and see if what they've done matches the plan. Be sure you don't go on the property without asking. So if you can see it from the road, and you can say, yes, it's done, that's fine. If you feel you really need to go on the property, you need to talk to that person, call them on the phone or whatever. And the phone numbers are on all the applications. 46 is the bar next door. So, Steve Briggs, right across the street. Did you give her Steve Briggs with the phone? Oh, okay. He's going to be in the neighborhood. He's going to be in the neighborhood. I just figured he was your neighbor.
It was just digging out signs not too long.
That's not all of them.
I will tell you that Steve Briggs's addition is beautiful.
It is, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
That's not all of them, but it's a start. And I kept a list. Don't you lose your stuff. Actually, if you lose it, I've got a copy of everything except the original plans on my computer, but Nesbit will have a copy of them in that property owner's file. Okay. Yeah, but I'd rather you don't use them. No, I don't.
So we should have these back to you at our meeting next month.
Yes, please. Okay.
I assume that's the.
Yes, yes, please.
And then we'll ask for more.
You will.
All right, now, is it okay? I want you to go on to new and old business. And it's not really new or old business, it's just stuff that I wanted to say that I didn't know what to call it. So I have a list of things. Number 1 is please keep track of all of your Zoom classes or webinars or seminars that you attend, because I have to include them in the CLG report and in the town report. Okay. So what I do is I have a page in my notebook and I just write down the date, how long it was, and who was putting it on. Okay. I will work on more specific language in the certificate of approval letter. And I think that you and I were chatting about that because of the Article 12 that passed last month, and we're going to need to revamp it up a little bit. So I don't feel like that's something that we need to do tonight, unless you feel like we really need to.
So I talked with Glenn Greenwood about that.
Okay.
I wanted to talk with Jess, but he wasn't there that day, so Glenn Greenwood and I had a discussion, and he looked at our certificate of approval and said he did not think that with what we had as a packet required anything more than we already have. He thought that was satisfactory. I was ready to take the picture off there and write some extensive thing up, and he didn't think so. I think you and I should have a meeting with Jess, and remember he said he'd be glad to do that, so that we go over what we learned at that meeting about, and what his understanding of his responsibilities or his jurisdiction versus HDCs and all. And so I think that would be a good thing to have in that meeting. But as far as Glenn Greenwood was concerned, he thought that our certificate of approval was fine.
Okay, great.
Okay. I'm skeptical. Like, even that plan, it's hard to read that plan. If you hand that to Jess, I don't know that Jess is gonna really be able to read that plan without saying, yes, we're making him include, caps and, I cannot remember for the top and bottom of the columns and the bed moldings, you know? I almost feel like there should be a list of, like, these are the things you're adding to the plan. Does he go in and read our minutes? How is he gonna know?
Because it's written in, right?
It's just as
It was on the plan, that's why I wanted you to draw on the plan.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
Yeah. But it ain't a lot of discussion to figure out that plan.
Right, but we didn't have to, we wrote moldings here and you drew on the plan, correct? Sometimes we've had a long discussion, I'll give an example, what the outside seating was gonna look like for Rick's restaurant. And he applied for that, but we had so many questions about the fencing around it, the paving, the attachment, that he hadn't put enough plans because he didn't think of it.
Right.
And so we wrote a long list of those.
Oh, that's the.
And his application, his certificate of approval says, with the attached requirements, and then that state goes right to the certificate of approval.
Okay. That's what I feel like we need to do, so that people can, if there's an issue.
Happening all along.
Perfect.
Yeah, that has been happening.
Okay.
So, there was a nice write-up, for example, from Buck tonight, in that he said there were gonna be pebbles here for the drip.
Yes.
And we have a drawing of where the pavers are going to go and all of that. So, you know, some people, it says write a description, and they don't write very much.
Yeah.
And so when there isn't very much, and we've had a long discussion, then I put a list of those components.
Okay.
And anytime there is a condition, that goes right on the front page with this condition.
Okay.
And then I list it.
Okay.
So Glenn thought that was enough, and he said, I think it's a lot of paperwork that the state wants that they'll never check. He said, whoever checks on an approval, well, somebody might be mad and check on their neighbor's approval, but I don't think that happens very often.
Right.
But he thought we were covered, but we can talk about it with Jess, or maybe with Jess and Glenn, maybe we should meet with them together. Yeah, we should do it, probably, yeah.
I was just thinking if someone didn't do what they said they'd do, as long as we've got the list of what they agreed to,
And we have
we need to protect the historic district too.
and we have the minutes.
Yes, yes.
So if there's a denial, then let's go with the denial.
Right, that's gonna be the really tricky one, the denials. Not that we have any denials.
Well, we have a denial, one denial within the last 3 years, and that's sent by certified mail.
Yep.
And the reasons are specifically given why it was denied.
Yes.
You have to do that, that's in our regs.
Yep.
I mean, the bottom line is that although that article passed, it does not change our process.
No, it doesn't.
We were doing it anyway.
We were doing it anyway.
That's what
And during the hearing at the planning board, once the person who put that article together understood what was going on, that individual didn't even support
Right.
the article and wanted to pull it, but it was too late.
However, that being said, we do need to be mindful that what we're doing here is not like what my taste is. Like, I don't think that would look good. You know, if it's according to design guidelines in Kingston, the, drawing blank now, the National Restoration, I can't remember the words, but those are what we need to keep in mind. This isn't just like, I don't really like the look of that, so I won't approve it. You know, we need to keep that in mind. It's not about our opinion, it's about what's appropriate. What's appropriate,
Right.
Yeah.
You might find on one of the applications that you're searching, I have a book of different house styles and periods, and sometimes when that has been part of the discussion, this is what a Victorian house front looks like, and this is what we want you to aim for. You may see that stapled right to the application the approval that I send back to the folks, part of the application. I don't know if any one of the ones I passed out happens to have it, but I know I do that sometimes.
So, Virginia and I will try to set up a meeting with Jess Nesbitt and Glenn Greenwood, just to be certain that our certificate of approval letter is up to snuff. And if anyone on the board has any additional questions that you want us to ask those two individuals, just email them to me, or just email to me. Virginia has a lot to do. And let's try to do that, we have that meeting sometime before the next meeting. Do you want to do that? Sure. Okay, all right.
So you can,
I'm going to talk with him tomorrow at Kingston.
So this is one of the resources I have that the Preservation Alliance has, architectural styles and building types. And I've got one that's got bigger pictures than this that we've passed out and used sometimes, but these are all resources that are available, and this is part of one that's in the library.
All right, I'm going to move on. The planning board is, after their next meeting, where they're going to discuss it amongst themselves, they're looking at requesting a joint meeting, possibly in June, with us, just for collaboration. And it has to do with the seminary project in regard to Envision Kingston, to see if there's any conflicts with the zoning. Lynn mentioned going through the zoning terminology and basically looking at the whole ordinance. So what I'm thinking is that we should, I'm pretty sure I have a copy of the Envision Kingston at home. I don't know if I have the whole one. And I didn't check if it's online, but let's sort of refresh. It is online? Okay. This is Envision Kingston that they're talking about. So, she just looking down the road, the planning board wants to, meet with us, and.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. I told them collaboration is one of our favorite things, so.
So this is, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand what it really is. What is it? It's about Envision, is the Envision Kingston too?
Which I think they wanted to make sure that the Envision Kingston, plan and what happened in the charrette doesn't conflict with, with sidewalks and one-way traffic and all that stuff that was involved in it, that the standalone seminary project will not be conflicting with.
Tie it in.
Right.
Tie it in.
Yeah, just to be sure that there's no conflict with zoning or with that document.
Okay.
So have you discussed whether or not it would be on a planning board night or an HDC night?
I have not discussed that. Yeah, they meet on Tuesdays as well, right?
They do, but they meet on the 1st and 3rd.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would like it to be on a Tuesday, but I have not discussed. She said they haven't even discussed it. So.
My guess is that if they do that, it would be on the first Tuesday, because that's the night that typically they don't do the public hearings, and there'll be an opportunity to have the discussion.
Okay. And I'll give her the option of meeting on our night too, that's fine. sign design guidelines, fence design guidelines. The shed thing that was on my list, I think is a non-issue now, because lots of sheds now, yeah. So, and I asked Jess about the sheds, and basically, they were like, we don't have sheds. A certain, with no bigger than a certain footprint.
168 square feet.
Yes, and not on a permanent foundation.
Now, they'd still have to come to the HDC, even if they wanted it, because it's still the historic
They just need
district.
a building permit, and who's gonna red flag it? Because usually a shed would come to the,
Right, but they should still have to come to HDC for the appearance of
For
it.
appearance of, because they could
And how it's gonna fit
a
in.
metal shed, they still have to come here.
All those visual things that we watch for.
It's just where it gets placed. It can be up to the line, but they still need to come to the HDC.
So if they don't need a building permit, then how do you, as we say, police it? How do you flag it if they don't need to get permission to do it?
It still has to conform to town ordinances and regs, and so it's still subject to enforcement.
Right.
They just don't need a building permit.
Yeah.
that's another thing we need to,
So who hears about it? I'm sorry, I'm sounding kind of dense here.
see, what's happened before is if the homeowner wants to erect a shed, they would come for a building permit. The building inspector would say, oh, you're in a historic district, you need to go to them first. So if they're not coming to the building inspector,
Well, do they need to go to get a permit to have one, period? And it just means they can put it anywhere? You just have one.
There's no permit required.
I think that maybe that's another one for your list when you speak with Glenn and Jess
Okay.
together.
All right.
They might have some thoughts on process.
Otherwise, we're gonna be watching to see who's putting one there, and then after that, there's this battle, it's already there, and now it's unpleasant, and that's not
I
fun.
know, yeah.
because I asked, about like, what's your front yard setback? I mean, can you put a hen house in the front yard? That's the answer I got. From Jess and Glenn at that meeting the other.
But that doesn't supersede the historic district,
Yeah.
right? That ordinance? We're still the shed. So even though that, we're stricter, so I think there still has to be compliance with the historic district, with a stricter zone.
Well, that's a good point of discussion.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask then as well, how to ensure homeowners are compliant? I have a feeling I'm not going to like the answer, but. Sign designs, you guys have worked on that for so long and so long ago.
I have a copy of it right there. I got a copy of it somewhere.
We just have, my plate has been full.
Overflowing.
Can we start out with a basic, instead of it being all encompassing, can we start out with a basic document and then add to it, it's just guidelines? It's not ordinances or anything.
Well, see, the basic thing is what is in our ordinance.
Right, that's where you're basic, yeah.
And there's really no fence ordinance at all.
No,
There's no what?
There's no fence language fencing,
no.
not really at all. So, but I have been online and read other towns, other New Hampshire towns' ordinances, and a lot of them include fencing.
Yes.
Descriptions of fencing and stuff.
So Maddie got quite a collection of other towns' ordinances about signs.
Yes, yeah.
So I would assume that fencing stuff is there as well. We put them in the same booklet.
We could add it to our design guidelines.
Yep.
Just keep it all in one document. Okay?
Yep. I mean, we have the thing, we just have to go through it.
Just.
Yeah, I know.
That one's a big four-letter word, just. So for the May meeting, I'll jump back on the fence design guidelines. And you guys, so let's just report back in. Because if I don't have a deadline, I'm not gonna do it. So I need to have a deadline. All right?
Yes.
So for the May meeting, we will update. okay? All right, sounds good. Public comment. Hello, public.
Oh, before he goes, all right. I have one thing. I'm looking for the status of the letter from Attorney Brandy.
Oh, yes.
So I think we have to ask you as the selectman's rep. She was going to write a revised version of what the jurisdiction of the historic district is.
Based on the meeting that was had.
Based on that, but you were at too, and that was, right, yeah.
I was there for the first one, which she canceled, and then the rescheduled one I
So it's from March, right, so from March 16th, she was going to get that letter to us.
So it was called, was her memorandum.
Was it supposed to come to HDC or to the select board?
The select board, I think.
So, since you weren't there, the biggest thing that came out of that meeting was there are some parts of the ordinance she does not believe the historic district had jurisdiction over, but we do have jurisdiction over impact.
The impact of,
Impact.
yeah, the impact of the use.
Right.
And she was going to update her.
Yes, and give us good examples of.
I will check on that.
All right, great, thank you. And one more thing. Yes. Go ahead.
That was a big update thing.
I know.
We talked about doing some positive information sharing to people, not just in the historic district, but in the town. And the Heritage Commission agreed that was a good thing. In December of 2019, I believe Glenn did this one, we sent that to members of the Historic District 1 and 2. I don't believe it went to everybody. The work that Judy Rubin did with Kingston Chronicles, we have all those articles. They tell about the National Register places in the town. We could revise that, and they found a place to put it in the newspaper when there was space. So we gave them chunks, and the one I did about the library was very long, so they made it into 2 parts and that. So we have all of those that we could start with information that's positive information. I think we've got a lot on our plate, but in the future, we could do another historic district note, and those were mailed out to policemen, and the office did that for us. So I think those are good ideas. I'm going to pass this out just as a reminder of what we did in the past, because I had some extra copies. So help yourself to one. And maybe in the future, we don't have to put that on the agenda for the next month. I think we've got a full house of these. But it was a nice job, Glenn. And Glenn is good.
Oh, I remember this.
Yes, you did a nice job.
Oh, this was,
The rededication.
well, it was, and the cause of it was, or the impetus for it was, we were having a lot of lighting issues, and then that got expanded into sort of other things.
Yes.
Yes. So,
You know,
could be redone.
I don't think I saw it printed, actually.
Oh, I don't think I saw it printed.
It's nice.
This went out to everybody?
Just residents of HD 1 and 2. We have a lot, we've had a huge turnover in HD 2, in H.
Yes, so that's what I was thinking, that actually there's been quite a few changes of ownership in HD1, but maybe some of this.
Yeah, seriously, it would be good.
I mean, you could actually reuse this. And
Seriously.
There's been so much turnover, it wouldn't hurt to mail it again.
And Maddie doesn't even remember seeing it.
We could put a different date on it.
Yeah.
Or not. We could do a little revision.
It used to be a time when you could look at it.
He thought it says on his computer.
Sure he does.
Who, as you did, it's been bugging me, who who do I talk to who sends out the letter to new residents of the districts?
When someone purchases a piece of property, the office sends it out.
The office.
Susan. Okay. And she said, yes, they're still doing that. Maybe that's a job Tori does now, or I don't know.
All right.
But that's a good question to ask.
Also, what about the town news, the town website, putting us an article, like one of those Kingston Chronicles things on there? Or is it just flashing along?
I think it's just like a blurb, isn't it, just?
Isn't what, just a blurb?
On the website. Where people go into any, is that what you're talking about? The website?
Well, there's two things. We could
It's just like a banner right at the top, like it just says, we're looking for new members.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more like a ticker rather than
I
a.
think it's just right there, just there. Yeah.
Static, okay.
So you can probably put a blurb, but I don't know that you could get all this in there.
Yeah, a couple of paragraphs.
Yeah.
I mean, this could certainly be, it's probably already in PDF form, and so, I mean, that could be uploaded to the HDC's section on the webpage.
Sure.
Just like minutes are there.
So Caitlin would do that.
Doesn't the town have a new website? It's just to let people know about things, it's no comments. So maybe we could just have that, just information. They could put one of these up on their Facebook page, right?
Okay.
Maybe?
It's the Town of Kingston Facebook page?
I think so, yeah, I haven't.
Do we have one?
Yeah, I think they did. I thought the selectmen did that, yeah. Yeah, you guys did. Just for information,
All that,
I do not know.
Be a troll.
I think it's new.
I think it's really new.
And who's managing it?
Adam updates that. Adam updates the website. All right, let me know somebody that can do that. All right, let's let the public speak. Yes. Speak.
Good evening. Scott Willett, 189 Main Street. I have two things. The first one, just after you guys were discussing about the sheds, and then you just talked about the newsletter, that mailing. Whoever bring those two together and say, hey, welcome to the district, blah, blah, blah. By the way, there's been some changes with the town's permitting on sheds, but just remember, you still need to come to the HDC. So before you start the project, stop by and say hi and let us know, in a pleasant way, give them that notice. And then maybe get that same sentence into that new resident packet that the selectmen send out. So maybe you get a couple of things covered. Because that packet goes up to the whole town, right? Any new resident?
No,
Only two.
So that's focused.
Yeah.
So that's a thought just came, that's number one. And the second one is I have a new update on old business. So the planning board, 186 Main Street, in front of the planning board, site plan review, they just submitted new plans last week. I don't know if you've got them yet, but they might be.
They're on the desk downstairs, I'm gonna pick them up tomorrow.
So I went over them, I encourage you guys to go over them, but some things are back to the way they were. Some things are still different. Some things are even further different. So I think it's in the same position where it's not the same thing that's board approved, it needs to come back and review whatever the changes are.
All right, so we'll pull that certificate of approval. All right.
And just to hit it real quick on the barn, I think we talked about, there's a new detention pond in the backyard. I don't know if you'd be able to see it or not, but it needs to be discussed. And they submitted like a new site plan.
Okay.
But it's on one page. The last time they submitted, they had like 3 or 4 pages. And those other pages had lighting and elevations and landscaping. So if someone just kind of takes the old 3 pages and throws them away and puts the new 1 page, now we just lost lighting and landscaping.
Maybe their intention is that 1 page would get replaced and everything else stays the same, but.
Yeah, but we can make sure that that's really what happens. Because I can see this, this has got the date of February. Set that aside. Here's the one for this month, and all of a sudden we lost it.
All of the planning board plans are on the website also. also. That's what the
There's a
chair.
error with one of them. I think she might have said it as like internal only or not public. So when you click on it, that's for password.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, but they all have lines up there, just one error with one.
Yeah. All right, thank you, thanks. I have nothing else. Does anyone have anything else?
Believe it or not, I'm not.
You must feel one conflict. All right. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, yes.
All in favor? Aye. It is 8:29 PM. Meeting is over.
Thanks, Adam.